Hi there viewers and YouTubers, and welcome to this current reading of Earth's predictions using the Psi cards. This reading will stand from July the 18th through to about July the 29th. If we take a quick review of the previous reading, we note that the first card was the message in the previous reading, and I suggested that might pertain to marine die-offs of animals. There were 500 penguins washed ashore in Chile, and there were millions of tiny crabs just recently washed ashore as well, which does follow that suggestion of marine die-offs. And after I had done the video, I thought about the mess that the whole card depicted. It looked a little bit like the tsunami mess that was left after the big Japan tsunami in March last year. And in essence, Japan had had some terrible downpours again in their most southern island of Kyushu, and I think 250,000 people were left homeless or were told to evacuate their homes, and the deluge of water has again just completely disabled that area and has it looking again like a tsunami has raged through it. So there were quite a few similarities in that card. For the beauty card, there was a sad death of Eva Rousing in London, and her body was found under very suspicious circumstances, so that beauty card seemed to play out there. There were lots of other accuracies within that reading. I won't go through them all now, but if you're interested, go back. I'll put the link below this video and you can go back and take a look at the previous reading and just see for yourself how they tie in. So going straight to this week's, I've made a few notes here. The first card out is the friendship card. We see this card and we think of gatherings and also like other people coming to the scene, because this is in fact a hidden hand in here, so we don't know the full story that's going on. Again, it looks up in that older part of the world, and for some reason it just kept coming to me about the Olympic Games, which start on July the 27th, I think, and I have a feeling there's quite a lot of energy from these cards about the Olympic Games, which makes sense because it's a particularly global energy that goes out to millions and millions of people, and so a lot of energy will be directed towards those games, as well as the athletes' energy as well. So the friendship card does have that feeling of the gatherings, and it is up in that older antiquity part of the world, perhaps through the Europe, and of course the games are being held in London. I do note that there is a bird in the reading. I do think there might be some more issues again this reading with animals, and I noticed these up in the back are barrels of alcohol, and I'm wondering if there could be drug and alcohol related issues. Often there are some drug issues associated with the games, but there might be something even bigger. There probably will be your standard usual drug surprises that come forth during the games, but there could be something even bigger as well. Now the next card out was the tree card. This one hasn't showed up very often. It's a little bit more difficult to read. The tree tends to stand for connection, family. It talks about being a family tree under the traditional readings of the Psi cards. It also has a great connection to Earth, as we can see, because it's showing a deep connection of root systems in there. So we get that whole thing of families coming together again, or it's associating itself with families somehow. But the card itself is very, very red, almost as if the red, I get the feeling, talks about fire or eruptions or heat or something along those lines. And this tree, even though it has leaves on it, and they are kind of red and green leaves, I initially thought southern hemisphere, but I'm not entirely sure that that's where I want to sit with that now that I notice the green. So I'm a wee bit lost. That could be a northern hemisphere indicator. It could also indicate something large scale to do with plants on the earth again for this reading. The next card out was the Libido card. We've had this one a couple of times. I think in this instance this could definitely be relating to the Olympic Games. This is a whole, amazing physical energy card, and it's all about bravado and pomp and pageantry, and of course we'll have the huge opening ceremony, and then we've got the 12 days or whatever it is of the athletes and all their amazing surge of energy, and their showing their energy and trying to win and be the top in their field. And that is exactly what the Libido card describes. But at the same time, we see this water absolutely gushing down on the right hand side. So I think we're going to have a lot more water issues in the standing of this reading, and they're going to be fear moving, like really strong torrents of water. Now the next card that came out, and it could be falling water, slips or slides, anything like that to do with fast-paced, really frenetic action of water, avalanches, something along that line. The next card that came out was the scales, and again they talk about balance and judgment and kind of legal issues or justice issues. Well, there's plenty of that going on around the globe. We don't have to look too hard to be finding out about that. Again, that's a Northern Hemisphere tree. There's fruit on it. It's got the green leaves. It's the blue sky in the background. To me, the scales look tilted, and the one in the back looks tilted more. Perhaps it's just the way I'm viewing it. So I got the feeling of, is there going to be some earth movement that tilts up in the Northern Hemisphere? Some sort of movement. The two trees, they connect very much to family oriented and knowledge, like ancient knowledge coming through again. So there's a lot here about historical information pertaining to us and the globe and Gaia and the universe again. The next card that came out was the birth card. We haven't seen this one before in the readings. It's rather an unusual looking card. I picked up water again with it. There's really, the clouds behind this look quite full of water and angry and moving. You know, that like there's movement in them. And there's droplets of water on this card. So I thought, well, there's definitely, we've got water issues in this reading coming up. The birth is obviously the birth of something new. That looks very much like an explosion or an eruption of some sort. And I also then thought the green to me pertains to fields as well, and I thought of paddy fields. I'm not sure why, but green crops or new crops that have been planted that have that green look. So something to do with crops, water, and some sort of eruption or explosion. The last card that came out was the death card. That's 3 weeks in a row that card has been here. Just won't go away. So mass deaths is what I said last time. We have seen mass deaths, unusual mass deaths, not your normal everyday run-of-the-mill. I'm also looking at the poppies in the front, and for New Zealanders and Australians, that poppies remind us of Anzac Day, which is when so many of our soldiers were lost on the beaches of Omaha up in Normandy in Turkey. So I wonder if there is something up around that part of the globe. Again, we go through that ancient Eastern European bloc, and as well pertaining to servicemen in some way, because the Anzac Day relates to our servicemen. All of these numbers in this reading added up to a 9. And 9 is a number of endings. It represents the end of a cycle, time to tie up loose ends. It depicts fulfillment, completion and wholeness. It supposedly gives a sense of satisfaction after having reached a peak after a long, arduous climb. And I feel that's going to very much be the case for a lot of the Olympian competitors. So that's another reason I think this reading is quite tied into the whole Olympic feel. 9 equates also with humanitarianism and universal compassion and attainment of wisdom through experience. So there's a connection there to some sort of compassion issues that could be arising again, where we get mass people on the planet feeling compassion towards certain events or agendas that will be taking place. Anyhow guys, that's this current reading. I hope you've enjoyed that. Feel free to add any comments. I always enjoy hearing from you, and I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching. I hope you all have a great week. Take care and be safe. Spend a bit of love around the place and a bit of a smile and a laugh. Thanks for watching.